Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everyone. Listen, guys, we have got a NATO warning today coming out of Germany. Swarms of drones have been conducting reconnaissance over German critical infrastructure. Now, look, guys, there's a lot of people talking about this. There's drones seen over, what is it, Denmark, Finland. Guys, look, you know what? There are far too many countries for me to even notice. What they're talking about now in the German media is that these swarms of drones are going over critical infrastructure, naval bases, and they are looking for, and they're conducting reconnaissance, basically. Now, what we've said on this channel is the real threat is the threat from sabotage. Now, just hold that thought, guys, because earlier on today in the United Kingdom, I do believe there was a sabotage attack. Let me just get this up real quick, and then we'll move on to what the crux of this live stream is. So for those of you guys who was on the live stream earlier, we were talking, like, this happened while we was on the live. There was the fire at Heathrow Airport. There was also the crash on the M25 near Heathrow Airport. And one of the things I said was, guys, listen, I believe this could be a complicated, by complicated, I mean multiple aspects. Complicated sabotage attack. And look, guys, so this is the mainstream, and this is what got released earlier. Heathrow Airport, vehicle destroyed and road closures after Terminal 3 car park fire. Again, you know, like if you live in the United Kingdom, over the last 24 months, things have just been set on fire. They have. There's no denying it, guys. You can call, you know, I'm not saying in this little sentence, I will do in a minute, but there is no denying that things in the United Kingdom keep getting set on fire. Maybe this is spontaneous combustion. Maybe this is an act of God. I don't know. But what I do know is things are burning at an alarming rate that never used to happen. We've got storage facilities. We've got substations. We've got electrical cables. We've got vehicles at airports now. Look, guys, I believe this is a thing to come. So when we're talking about sabotage, which I'll come on to in a second, I do believe this is the real threat to the United Kingdom. It's not from missiles coming over. You know, it's not from missiles that say, United Kingdom, we have little surprise for you. Yeah, Yuri, send Sarmat 2 over. But Vladimir, we only have Sarmat 3. Okay, send them Sarmat 3. Yes, Vladimir, I understand. That's not the thing, guys. The thing I believe is asymmetric warfare, non-conventional warfare, grey warfare, and whatever there's going to have to be a new name for it. Because normally when you're peer-on-peer fighting, you don't, it's this new aspect right now, guys. Sorry, I will come on to the drones in a minute. The new aspect now of sabotage, where you can literally, like, I could go into any migrant home. Do you know what? That's being rude. I could find people in the United Kingdom who would be willing to commit criminal acts for money. I could, guys, I could find that. And I believe a lot of these people will be staying at the migrant hotels. Right. So what we're going to open with today, guys, is a drone swarm. I'm focusing on Germany at the moment, but I'll come on to the other places. A drone swarm that flew over Germany, deliberately surveyed NATO's critical infrastructure, including power plants and a naval facility. Now, this is according to Der Spiegel. I always thought it was called Das Spiegel, which cited an internal German government memo. Now, this is happening all over Europe at this point now, guys. It's happening all over Europe. Drones here, drones there, drones here, drones there. They're clearly getting ready for something. Right, guys, the chat's quite lively this evening. The chat's quite lively this evening. Hop along, Bob. Hang on. Hop along, Bob on TikTok is saying, "What's your YouTube name? I can't find your channel." Guys, listen, we are triple streaming. We always triple stream. I will start this live stream on TikTok, YouTube, and X, and then I'll close TikTok down and I'll just continue on YouTube and X. I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube, guys. I'm the Real Raven 1 on X. Right, Googly, yes. Googly sent me a message. Can you hear the fireworks? We was only talking, wasn't we, today about fireworks? Okay, I've actually got that Googly as one of the subject topics there. Googly sent me a message about a nationwide nuclear alert that the Russians are doing. I didn't know whether I was going to do this tomorrow morning, but seeing as Google is talking about it now, Russia. So guys, look, the culture in Russia is a lot different to culture here. It really is. It's a lot different. We are strong Russians, and we are prepared to fight and defend Mother Russia. Like here in the United Kingdom, like we don't even know what a woman is, and apparently a woman can grow a cervix. So you know, it is what it is. But Russia has staged their own nationwide. Now they're calling this a nuclear warning, a nuclear war test. Just quickly with this, guys, I don't think this is any different than the emergency alert that we got on our phones. I really don't, guys. I don't think it's any different. In Russia, however, they blurted this out on sirens and loudspeakers all across Russia. You know, all across Russia's 11 time zones. Do you understand how big Russia is, guys? Russia has 11 time zones. That's wild to me, guys. That's wild. So that happened in Russia today. I think it was today. TV and radio broadcasts were interrupted for the test. Russians were told what to do if the sirens sounded for real instances, you know, and they're talking about a nuclear attack or a freak weather incident. On the concept of it, I don't think this is any different to the alarm that we got to our phones. It shows you that governments are testing their systems to alert and inform people. Guys, let me come back onto this. Let me come back onto this drones thing. Okay, so what's that? Sorry, guys, I'm getting pop-ups. I'm getting pop-ups coming up. I never usually get pop-ups. Last week, overnight, on Friday the 26th of September, residents in Germany, just south of Denmark, spotted something very unusual in the skies. A swarm of drones in what authorities believe were flying in a coordinated pattern. They were hovering over critical sites, power plants, a naval shipyard, you know, and an oil refinery. Even the state parliament. These are things that have really happened, guys. I'm not making this up. This is real. This is real stuff happening over Germany. According to a leaked document memo cited by Der Spiegel, they weren't hobbyist drones gone rogue. They were deliberately mapping key infrastructure, potentially for espionage or sabotage. Now, that's not me saying it, guys. That's not me speculating, giving speculation, analysis, or opinion. That is coming from a leaked German document. Now, the document's in German. I've not had a chance to read it or translate it. I'm going from a report from Der Spiegel, which is a German news outlet. And that's what they're reporting, guys, okay? Now, the key words here are espionage or sabotage. And the key one out of those two is sabotage, because the espionage has already been done. Now, we know that here in the United Kingdom, look, guys, does anybody else think we're not under attack right now in the United Kingdom? Attacks on women in the streets, I think that's part of it. I do. Criminal attacks, I think that's part of it. And you can go back You can go way back actually to some of my earlier videos, like a top. I did a top 10 on YouTube. You know, when we just started doing YouTube videos, I did a top 10 civilian targets for sabotage, and on that list I had crime, non-specific crime, just an increase in crime. Because what that does, an increase in crime, is that soaks up resources, that soaks up emergency services, that soaks up police time, that soaks up investigation time. And then when a real criminal thing happens, when a real big thing happens, all the officers are soaked up doing crime. So I would say that crime, just an uptick in crime. So you say to all your sleeper cells, right, you four, go and set fire to that substation. Right, you four, go and set fire to that storage depot. Right, you four, go and do this. Right, the rest of you guys, just go out and commit crime. Don't get caught. Do as much crime as you can. Cause as much damage. Cause as much violence. Do as much stuff to girls as you can. Do as much stuff to women as you can. Steal as much stuff. Do whatever you want. This is all new. This is a new part of warfare, ladies and gentlemen. I've been talking about this, a new dynamic of warfare. It's not grey warfare. It's not asymmetric warfare. It's not non-conventional warfare. I don't know what they're going to call it, guys, but they have to call it something else. They're going to have to call it something else, because it's certainly not none of them. So Germany's Interior Minister, Sabrina Sutterlin-Wack, I'm not making it up, guys, that's her name. Sabrina Sutterlin-Wack sounds like an adult movie star, but that's her name. Confirmed the sightings, telling Der Telegraph-Spiegel or something, that the incident is under investigation for possible links to foreign actors. Why do they always want to bring Leonardo DiCaprio into this? Foreign actors. It's always those foreign actors, isn't it, guys? Foreign actors. But they're linking this to foreign actors. And by foreign actors, they don't mean like, you know, Tom Hardy. They mean foreign near-peer adversaries or peer adversaries. She noted that Germany's working closely with the Bundeswehr, its armed forces and federal authorities to get to the bottom of it. Why the urgency? Because this isn't an isolated incident, and the finger is pointing towards Russia, guys. The finger's pointing towards Russia. Remember, right, this conflict, if you live in the United Kingdom right now, I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be dragged into this conflict. There's no denying it. You could argue that we're already in this conflict. We're already taking sabotage attacks. We already have boots on the ground. But the fingers from media are pointing to Liruskis. They are talking to Liruskis. Right, I'm going to jump over, guys, and get some. There's a lot of comments here. There's lots of comments going all over the place. So I'm going to jump over to YouTube and get some comments there, guys. And then I'm going to give you guys like a bigger aspect of what's happening. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're on now. I appreciate I'm on a little bit early because we've got a lot to get through. We have lots to get through. Can you do me a real big favor? Like, comment, subscribe, bell notification, buttons down here, if like in one of those corners, maybe that one or maybe that one if you're watching on YouTube. They're up there if you're watching on X, and they're like up here somewhere, maybe one of those sites, whatever way you've got your camera. If you're watching on on TikTok. Right. From now, it's saying Denmark banned all commercial drone flights throughout the country, apparently. Yeah, look, guys, these drone swarms, this is the first, I've been looking for something on mainstream media because I'm limited to what I can say. I've been looking for something on mainstream media that talks about what's happening with these drones in Europe. Totally different to what was happening in the United States over in December last year, October last year, a year ago, and the drones are back. Literally 12 months on, the drones are back, but they're in Europe now. So I'm going off an article from Der Spiegel, guys, all right? And it's very difficult. You know, when I tell you all the information's out there, you just need to know where to look. I've been looking and I've been looking, and I'm leading with an article from Der Spiegel, and they're talking about a leaked document from the German authorities saying that these drones were conducting reconnaissance for a potential strike, sabotage strike, espionage strike, over Germany's critical infrastructure. That's not my speculation, ladies and gentlemen. That's Der Spiegel, and I agree with them. But yeah, we've got Denmark, we've got Finland, we've got where else is there? There's what is it? Estonia, Poland, Denmark. There's another one. Romania. All have had their own drone incursions. Now, what we need to be careful about here is thinking not all drones are the same. These drones that were seen over Germany, these were the well, as I understand it, they were the quadcopter type drones with reconnaissance capability. The drones over Poland, Latvia, and not Latvia, Poland, Romania, and Estonia, they were attack one-way attack drones. Mr. Mark is saying Russia are using jet drones now compared to everyone else's prop driven. Yeah, guys, listen, this is a comment from Mr. Mark over on YouTube. Guys, can you remember how I did a longer video and I said there's going to be 3 phases of drones and why NATO is always catching up? I said right now the Russian Shaheeds. This was a while back. I'm saying the Russian Shaheeds, they're using atmospheric internal combustion engines, 4-stroke engines. I think they're 4-stroke. They maybe, it doesn't matter. Internal combustion engines, which gives them a service ceiling of about 3,000 feet. It gives them very specific parameters. What I said on a video a while ago is what the Russians will do next is they will put a turbocharger on that. And then I said, after they put a turbocharger on that, they will start to jet power them. You know, and then a few months later, I did another video and saying, listen, guys, it looks like the Russians have just missed out the turbocharger and they've just gone straight to jet-powered drones. And Mr. Mark is just confirming he's just confirming this. And Mr. Mark, one of the problems with the MOD right now is the MOD are funding projects to take down the slower and lower Shaheeds. By the time that money is allocated, the technology they're developing is already obsolete. So it's a waste of money. Waste of money, guys. Waste of money. But yeah, you're 100% right. The Russians are starting to use jet-powered drones. I will say they're not all of their UAVs are jet-powered, but yeah, certainly some of them are. Freddie over on YouTube is saying the reverse Midas touch. Starmer's plan prompts collapse in support for digital IDs. And when I was in the army, somebody like one of my drill instructors, I heard him shouting at someone and says, "You're like Midas, Private. You're like Midas. Just everything you touch turns to shit." But it just made me laugh then when he said he's got Midas touch. Listen, guys. Okay, another thing. Freddie's talking about the Midas touch with the UK government. I don't know who's going to be interested in this, guys, but Greggs, the world famous bakery, Greggs, is going to have to put their prices up tomorrow because of the cost of employment. So I'm going to give you another headline, guys. Greggs is about to go bust. You heard it here first. I wasn't sure whether I was going to talk about this today, but Greggs, the bakery, they're having to put their prices up tomorrow, guys, due to employment costs. Because they put their prices up, less people go in. They can't turn a profit. They can't turn a profit. They can't stay afloat. They can't stay afloat. They go bust. They go bust. More people are unemployed. More people are unemployed. The government have to raise taxes. The government raised taxes. Those companies can't compete. Those companies go bust. More people are unemployed. Government have to raise taxes. Then we're bringing universal basic income. get your digital IDs, have your microchip, and get yourselves off to that war. We fat shug with a very interesting thumbnail is saying, forget nuclear war, I'm righteously indignant that the price of a sausage roll is going up. Release the sausages. Yeah, release the sausages. Maybe that's what Keir Starmer meant. Maybe it was like maybe it was just a plan to get all the sausages out of the bag. But yeah, guys, the price of Greggs is going up from tomorrow, which obviously this is not official. The price of Greggs is going up, which means Greggs is in trouble. Greggs is in trouble, which means they may go bust. Greggs go bust. Lots of people are going to be unemployed. There you have it, guys. Greggs will be a bakery until it's not. Let's get back on track, guys. Okay, let's get back on track. Remember, NATO ally confirms drones flying over Germany were deliberately conducting reconnaissance over NATO's critical infrastructure. So let's zoom out for a moment, guys, okay? And let's think about NATO's eastern flank, or what they call it, eastern century. Places like Poland, Estonia, Romania, now Denmark. I don't know if there's any more. I feel like there's more. And of course, Germany are all on the edge. Over the past month, Russian drones and jets have repeatedly breached NATO airspace, which has led to Article 4 being invoked. Sorry, guys. Which has led to Article 4 being invoked. And remember, guys, Article 4 is more potent than Article 5. Don't let anyone tell you any differently, guys, all right? If people say, that's a NATO Article 5 issue, just in the eye and say, you don't know what you're talking about, mate. Yeah, so Article 4 is being invoked by numerous countries. So this started, guys, can you remember the 10th of September? Can you remember how wild the 10th of September was? We was on a live stream on the 10th of September, and it was just boom, boom, boom. All the NATO airspace encroached. Charlie Kirk gone. It was wild, guys. Absolutely wild. So on the 10th of September, guys, Poland shot down Russian drones. Estonia reported Russian MiG-31s. Yeah, MiG-31s, I think it was. Jets. I think they had like a 12-minute incursion. I think it was for like 12 minutes on the 19th. Romania had to scramble their own jets multiple times. And in Denmark, drones, I think it's Denmark and Norway. I'm pretty sure it's Denmark and Norway. Drones disrupted airport operations, with officials calling it a hybrid attack, deliberate sabotage short of open conflict. The thing about sabotage, ladies and gentlemen, it's deniable. It's deniable. So here's the thing. What can I use? Let me use this as a rocket. So here's my example of a rocket. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if it's going into space, it doesn't need a pointy head. So let's just say this is my rocket, all right? So you've got sensors and cameras in this bit. Hang on, let me do that. No, do you know what? I'm going to go with that. This is my rocket. This is Raven's rocket. In this rocket, at this bit here, you've got sensors, you've got cameras, you've got gyroscopes, you've got GPS modules, you've got targeting systems, really sophisticated computer chips. Maybe a million, low end, $1 million worth of like electronics and stuff in there, Then you've got this bit here, which is the warhead. So that's the kaboomy bit. And then this bit here would be fuel. These things are expensive, guys. They're expensive. And when you launch that and it's flying with its wings, woo, And when it's flying with its wings and it's dodging and evading and all these sensors, it looks like a man, doesn't it? And all these sensors are working and they're dodging and doing evasive, boom! You can tell where these things came from. There's no denying where this came from or who sent it. None. No denying it. So what happens if one of these things land in your country? You send a load back. That's how it works. Now, with sabotage, I'm just going to give you a wild example here, guys. Let's just say that there's some Eastern Europeans working in a hotel somewhere. They recruit some migrants. They pay them $5,000 each to go and set fire to a substation. How are you going to tie that back? How are you going to tie that back to anyone? You're not going to do that. You know, so everything now is about sabotage, and it's very difficult. I mean, we have got open borders right now, guys. We've got open borders. Sabotage, I do think, is the real threat. You know, if you live in Western Europe, if you live in Western Europe, sabotage is the main threat. If you live in Eastern Europe, then you do have to contend with those kinetic strikes. Russia, unsurprisingly, has denied doing anything intentional, you know. And again, look, guys, I'll be quite clear. This may be the case. I don't think it is, but it may be the case. Russia denies doing anything intentional. They claim these are navigational errors. And I did use that phrase. I've used this phrase before, guys, navigational errors. Russia is claiming that these are navigational errors or flights over international waters, but NATO isn't buying it. These incidents look like calculated tests of the alliance's defense, probing for weakness in air surveillance and response. You know when these jets get scrambled from, what is it, RAF, is it Waddington? I think it's RAF. Is it Waddington, or does Waddington have the drones? It's either Waddington or Coningsby. I think it might be Coningsby, actually. Anyway, there's RAF bases in the UK that have the quick reaction force. Now, these quick reaction forces that go up to intercept potential Russian aircraft coming encroaching on British airspace. Remember, they never encroach on British airspace. They only come close. What they're not looking for the jets themselves. They're looking at the bigger infrastructure. For example, if those jets go up, where does the fuel come from? You know, who delivers that fuel? Is it delivered by a civilian company? And if so, where's their weaknesses? This is what we're talking about now, guys. And then those civilian fuel depots, you can sabotage those civilian fuel depots. If you sabotage those civilian fuel depots, guess what? Those aircraft are not coming up to intercept you because there's no fuel. And regardless of how important Keir Starmer and David Lammy are, those jets won't fly without fuel. That's the reality, guys, okay? So we're looking at asymmetric hybrid warfare. Now, these drones, first of all, guys, I want to be quite clear. People are pointing the finger at Russia. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know who sent them. That's the reality. And that's the thing with asymmetric warfare. You never know. It's very difficult to point them. It's very difficult to find that smoking gun. So the drones over Germany may have been launched from ships in the Baltic or the North Sea, exploiting gaps in NATO's ability to track low-flying, low-cost drones. Remember when I said? Remember when I did? You remember when the drones were over the United States? I don't know, guys. I started going down one direction. Right, I'm going to have to do a deeper dive into. I'll do a deeper dive into this tomorrow, guys. Something's just come to me then, and I'm thinking about capabilities. I'm thinking about drone capabilities and the distance you need to travel, and the speeds involved and the times. I'm going to have to do a deeper dive into this. I'll get my calculator out and I'll do the Raven maths. But let's continue. So, you know, these drones may be launched from ships in the Baltics and the North Sea, exploiting gaps in NATO's ability to track, you know, these low flying, low cost drones. Little maybe $300-400 drones. Equally, these drones may have been launched from somewhere in Germany themselves. You know, that's not off the cards either. So why does this matter? Why does this matter if you live in the United Kingdom? Why is this of any news at all if you live in the United Kingdom? Before we get to that, guys, I'm just going to jump over and get some comments on TikTok. Right, guys, there are loads of comments here. So Google is saying UK government resumes row with Apple demanding access British users' data. Apparently, military boards aid flotilla and warns ships to change course. What's that all about? This is from Amanda. So that would be the aid flotilla that is heading to Gaza, and I can only assume that's been boarded by Israeli military. Right, Priv Caro, who is in Norway, is saying they can't. Oh, hang on, her comment's gone. Right, I'm sure I'll get to it at some point. Thomas Vale is saying Russia have gained lots of ground in the last 48 hours that has been liberated and recaptured. The situation. Look, guys. Okay, for those of you who are not following what's happening in Ukraine right now, the ground is being eaten up at a considerable rate by the Russians. It's a slow and steady choke that the Russians are doing on the Ukrainians right now, guys. Okay, the Russians are taking, like, by my estimates, obviously some days it's a little bit more, some days it's considerably more, some days it's considerably less. But I would estimate, and this is my estimate, it may be wildly wrong, but from what I'm looking at, the Russians are taking around 20 square kilometers per day of Ukrainian ground. Now, this battlefield is huge, guys. You know, the Ukraine's huge. So you've got to understand, given a long enough time frame, the Russians will take Ukraine. There's no denying that. The way things are now, that will happen. Let's not forget that Vladimir Putin's just called up an extra 135,000 conscripts or reservists. Put that into context, guys, all right? Just think about that, right? Russia has called up an extra, so we've got all our stuff, we've got all our stuff, we're rolling, we're doing our stuff, we're taking 20 square kilometers a day. Right, I need another 135,000 blokes. Yep, no worries. There you go. There's your 135,000 blokes. The British Army, as of the 1st of January this year, was 74,000, just under 74,000. The numbers don't add up, guys. The numbers do not add up. So many reasons why the way this war is at the moment in Ukraine, it's not a win for NATO. Minus the United States, it's not a win for NATO. Candy Rocks is just saying dollar water park. I don't know what that means. Gareth is saying Germany Oktoberfest is cancelled. Oh, closed. Now, is that, we were talking about that this morning? There was an explosion. There was a bomb threat. I can't. we was talking about that this morning. They said they were delaying it. I don't know if they've actually closed the whole Oktoberfest and cancelled it. I mean, you know, nobody goes to Mecca and blows things. Well, I think they do actually. But, you know, Oktoberfest for white people, for white Christians, Oktoberfest should be like a spiritual pilgrimage where you go over there, you get one of those big beer things. You know the is it like 2 liters or something? You get the big 2-liter thing of beer. Glug, 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 glug. Yeah? That's what it should be. Maybe have a fight with a German, then drink beers with him. That's how I want to roll, guys. That's how I want to roll. Right, XOX. Right, XOX is saying, has NATO shot down any drones yet? Yes, NATO shot down drones over Poland on the 10th of September. That was Poland shooting down those drones. I think they shot down like, I don't know the exact number. I want to say 19. Or it may have been 19 that went into Poland and they only shot. Anyway, but yes, in answer to your question, yes, NATO, Poland, which is a NATO country since, I think, 2002, have shot down drones over NATO skies, Russian drones. From that, they've invoked Article 4. So has Estonia and I believe Romania. So now the tensions have really ratcheted up. We're talking about the bigger threat to drones over Europe at the moment. And guys, look, what we've got to understand is there's the attack drones. I need to get some, like, for tomorrow morning, guys. Do you know what I'm going to do tomorrow? I'm going to get little pictures of things I talk about. I'm going to get a little picture of a quadcopter so I can show you guys what a quadcopter is, because a quadcopter is still a drone. I'm going to get you guys a picture of Mark 19 Predator. This is a surveillance drone. Totally different functions, features, operate differently. And this is an attack drone, a one-way attack drone. This is a Shaheed. These are the characteristics of an attack drone, because they're very different. And I don't think, like, I'm not talking about you guys, but I don't think on mainstream media they understand what they're talking about. They just say, oh, yes, it's a drone. You can have, like, this little thing with a little camera. That ain't going to blow anything up, guys, believe me, all right? Oh, then you can have, like, the big thing, and they're like, yeah, that's not going to take, that doesn't even have a camera. That's going one direction, and it ain't coming back. So, yeah, I think I need to get some of those little things, little pictures for you to show people. Chernobyl nuclear plant into blackout after Russian strike. I thought Chernobyl was already decommissioned. Listen, guys, if you guys want a little bit of inside information, and you're not going to get this anywhere else, I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, you will not get this anywhere else. What I'm about to tell you is not confirmed. You won't find it in any documents. And of course, it's for entertainment purposes. It's for entertainment purposes, and it's not true, but it might be. Okay, so next in Chernobyl, there's a big structure, and it's like a big lattice. It's a big lattice. And what the Russians said it was is an over the horizon radar. I'm telling you now, guys, I've heard from good authority that wasn't an over the horizon radar at all. Do you know what that was? That was a non-nuclear EMP device. So what the plan was, if NATO came into Europe or did whatever, the Russians, which were in control of that nuclear power plant, they would activate the non-nuclear EMP, and that would fire out non-nuclear EMP and turn all the electrics off over Europe. which is just another one of the reasons why I don't think nuclear weapons are ever going to be used again. Yes, Candy Rocks, Chernobyl is abandoned. Do you know how wild it is? I actually spoke to some people who used to go to school at a place called Pripyat. Now, Pripyat is the local town to Chernobyl. Chernobyl is the nuclear power plant. Pripyat, it's in northern Ukraine, it's like the closest town. Those kids that went to that school, because they had nuclear contamination, guess what the government did? Gave them free school dinners. They're like, right, you kids are nuclear contaminated. Yeah, you get free school dinners now. Wild, guys, absolutely wild. It's just a different culture. You've got to understand it's a different culture. You know, when you go to vote in Ukraine, you go to vote, you go in, you cast your vote. I don't know, I want to vote for Zelensky, whatever. I think they give you 2 kilos of vegetables for voting. I want my 2 kilos of vegetables for voting. Wouldn't it? I mean, can you imagine going and voting and you get 2 kilos of vegetables and they're like, oh, what do you want? You're like, oh, give me like 2 kilos of onions, or I'll have a kilo of onions and a kilo of carrots. Yep, they weigh them out for you. And there you go. There's your vegetables. I think that's fantastic, guys. I do. I think it's fantastic. Free vegetables for every voter. That's what I say. Right. Sorry, guys. I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue with this, guys. There's loads of stuff happening at the moment. Let me just. Oh, hang on. I've got to do this one on YouTube. Right, guys. Listen. There are a lot of. Listen, guys, there's a lot of comments. I've got all the chats open, so I do apologize if I can't get to them all. Alex Core is saying Putin pooed his pants when Trump flew a B-2 stealth bomber over his head. Listen, guys, it's a massive flex to the Americans. Like what a flex to the Americans that they can strike anywhere in the world whenever they want, and no one can stop them. I mean, that is a flex. Listen, get the comments. Yes, Trevor Pritchard is saying they aren't allowed to have a nuclear war. I don't think they're allowed to have a nuclear war either, guys. I think a nuclear war is being taken off the cards. I've said this in lots of videos, and it's always funny when I get somebody come up in the comments saying, oh, Sean, you said the world would be in nuclear war. And I'm like, I've never said that, because I'm not going to tell you why I don't think there's going to be a nuclear exchange, but it is wild, guys. It is wild. Right, there was another comment here. Somebody said something about the BBC. Hang on. Somebody on the chat, somebody on the chat said something about the BBC, like it's not on the BBC or something. I can't find that comment now. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the chats are going wild, guys. The chats are going wild. So why does this all matter to the United Kingdom? What have those little Brits got to do with what? Why does it bother me, sir? I've not done anything. Oh, I'm Keir Starmer. So if you live in the United Kingdom, which I do, ladies and gentlemen, I live in the United Kingdom. I'm not sure how long for. Well, as a NATO member, we're part of that same security umbrella. So an attack or even a provocation on one ally is a threat to all. Now, I'm not talking about Article 5 here. I'm talking about the Article 4 stuff, because when a country invokes Article 4 and brings everyone in, then you have that legal framework. So, for example, if Finland got attacked tomorrow by country X and they invoked Article 5, it would take a long time for a response. A long time for a response. People would be arguing. Each political leader would go up there with their little, with their little bit of. I mean, guys, come on. We have got David Lammy as second in command. Jesus. Every time I say that to myself, every time I say that to myself. So you've got all the leaders of NATO. They'd come together, they'd argue, they'd agree on something after they've argued, and then something may or may not happen. If you invoke Article 4 beforehand, which a lot of countries have already done now, guys, Article 4 is already a tick in the box. What they do is they do the meeting beforehand and they say, right, if we're attacked again, we're going to do this. You guys are going to do this. You guys are going to provide this. You guys are going to provide this. Everybody agrees on it. Everybody signs it off. It's a legal document then. They have to respond. And Britain is part of those Article 4 meetings. So with the German infrastructure, whether it's a power plant, a naval yard, or broader NATO networks of, I don't know what else they're doing reconnaissance on. If, and this is an if, guys, you're never going to get the smoking gun, but if it is Russia, and there's no evidence out there to say it is, but I do think it is just because of circumstantial evidence. It's not just Germany's problem, it's Britain's problem as well. If drones fly into Poland, it's not just Poland's problem, it's Britain's problem. If F-31s fly into Romania, it's no longer Romania's problem, it's Britain's problem. You see where we're going with this now, guys? Because all these legal documents have been signed. So any escalation, any invocation of Article 4, which has already happened, will bring Britain into this conflict. Oh, hang on. Good. Right, hang on. Candy Rocks is saying, I thought we weren't in the EU. Okay, so we're not in the European Union, but we're still in NATO. So the European Union is a trading bloc built for an economic competitor to the United States, basically. So we can trade as a bloc with the United States. That was the purpose of the European Union. It's failed. NATO is a military alliance put together to oppose the Soviet Union after the Second World War. Just if anyone's confused on that. That was a question off TikTok. Right. So these incidents also come as NATO is bolstering its eastern defenses. So you know the operation, what is it, Eastern Sentry? I think it's East, or is it Eastern Sentry? I think, yeah, Eastern Sentry is Operation Eastern Sentry, and there's Operation Eastern Wall, I think, and Operation Baltic Defense, and there's all these operations. And what's happening is both sides are building. There's also plans for a so-called drone wall to counter these threats. But what happened in Germany shows how cheap, hard to detect, and easy to deploy drones can slip through cracks in an enemy's defenses. You know, that I don't know where these drones were launched from that went into Germany. My initial, I'm going to have to do the maths on this, guys. I'm going to do the maths on this, but my initial thoughts were that they were launched from within Germany themselves. Like all over Europe, you have the Schengen area, so people can cross the borders without showing passports. So I initially thought, but I need to do the maths on this because something just came to me. And these drones will operate on known physics, so the maths will not lie. Maths doesn't lie, ladies and gentlemen. It's a brilliant thing. So it just shows you how, with all this money that's being invested, and like I always say, guys, there is no defense to these. The speed that these things can be built and brought to bear, I'm surprised, and I'm genuinely surprised we have not seen a cheap terrorist drone attack in Europe. I'm surprised, guys. I'm surprised it's not happened already. It will happen. It's going to happen. Do you know how I know it's going to happen? You know those people that are in Ukraine right now building drones? Who do you think they're loyal to? Do you think they're vetted? Do you think somebody in Ukraine or Russia could make their way? Just go with me, guys. Wild conspiracy here, guys. This is just a wild conspiracy. This is just a wild conspiracy. Do you think it's possible that someone who knows how to build drones in either Ukraine or Russia has managed to make their way to Cali? Do you think that's beyond the realms of possibility? Just one. Do you think it's then possible that they could get in a boat and make it over to the United Kingdom just with nothing on them? Do you think that's possible, that they could get over but the knowledge is up here, the knowledge how to build these things. So they get to the United Kingdom now with the knowledge, and then they go to some house or somewhere and someone says, right, here's a load of drones. Here's a load of smuggled munitions. Exactly what you asked for. There you go. Put it all together for me. That's just a wild conspiracy, guys. Do you think that could happen? Do you think that could happen? I don't know. Maybe it could, maybe it couldn't. Let me continue, guys, okay? So, for the UK, this is really a moment to watch, guys, okay? RAF jets are already part of that NATO. RAF jets are already covering the skies over Poland. That's a fact. I would say they're going to continue missions. They're going to have a whole interchangeable aspect over that NATO flank. So you'd be getting RAF jets in Estonia, RAF jets in Latvia, RAF jets everywhere. So these things are already happening. We're already spending absolutely millions and millions. So every time an not an F-35. Every time an Typhoon, yeah. Every time a Typhoon goes up, do you know how much that costs? That costs about 35 grand an hour. That's how much it costs to keep one of those things in the air. So it's expensive. It's expensive, guys. It is, really expensive to intercept these aircraft. Now, what happened in Germany, paired with Denmark Airport, paired with the Norwegian airports. Sorry, you can't pair more than two things. I appreciate, but added what happened in Poland, added what happened in Romania, added what happened in Estonia. We are seeing this direction of travel now. So XOX, I don't even know what name that is. XOX on TikTok is saying, how do you think NATO would respond if Russia flew drones again? Well, first of all, we don't know who's flying these drones. So there's two aspects here. So there's the drones that were. I need to get you guys pictures because you need to visualize these things. So there's the smaller quadcopter drones that have been seen over Germany, conducting reconnaissance, closing airfields down. And then there's the bigger Shahed drones that were intercepted over Poland, airspace encroached in Romania, I believe it was, and drones flew in I may have got those two mixed up. They'll shoot them down. 100% they'll shoot them down. Now, the problem here is the Russians are saying, so the Russians are saying that this is navigational error, honest mistake. We're sorry, we won't do it again. That's fine if it was. But the problem is the boy who cried wolf. So now, if there is a genuine pilot error, a pilot's GPS goes down, he's lost, he's over the wrong place, and he's trying to gather his bearings, you know, he's going to get shot down. And that's going to be a genuine mistake. If there is, you know, a genuine failure or something goes wrong or a miscommunication, it gets shot down. Because Article 4 is being invoked, people have got that framework now. They've got that, you know, they've got that legal framework. Gareth on TikTok is saying factories coming to Swindon like the RAF, like the Storm Shroud, the RAF's unmanned weapon system. Yeah, so Storm Shroud is a companion drone for the Royal Air Force. It will fly as like a drone that accompanies the aircraft. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's like, you know, the old, fight, like alien fighter games where you'd have an alien ship and you could just shoot straight forward and you get different bullets. You could collect power-ups and you could get like the companion ship that would come to your side and that one could shoot and then you get another companion ship. That's kind of like what it is. But let's just think about that, guys. Swindon, okay? Swindon has had a lot of fires. There's been a lot of fires recently in storage depots in Swindon. Remember, Swindon, you've got RAF Lynham, you've got RAF South Cerney, you've got Bryce Norton, all within relative distance. You've got other bases as well, you know, in that region. So you've got a lot of military bases around that region. Right, let me finish off, guys, and give my final little oh, guys, look at the time. Look at the time. Right, guys, listen, I'm going to give my final little spiel and then I'm just going to jump straight over to YouTube. I appreciate it. I like the time's flown by this evening, guys. The crux of this live stream, there's been a NATO warning. Drones preparing for a potential sabotage strike on Germany. Now, this is not me saying it, guys. This is from a German news outlet called Das Spiegel. Go and check it out yourself. There's been a leaked document that said there was a swarm of drones over Germany last week. They identified that these drones were going over NATO assets, critical infrastructure, naval bases, military bases and military facilities. So that's what's been happening. That's real. That is real. Gareth is saying EU drone wall coming. Help EU protect itself. Okay, so this drone wall, it will do something, but what we've seen from this incident in Germany is that these smaller systems, you can build them in that country. Like you guys can go on. There's a website called Hobbycraft. Let me see if it is called that. I think it's called Hobbycraft. Yeah, so there's a website, you know, I can't say what but it's called, there's a company called Hobbycraft, right? You, me, anyone can go onto that website and you can buy all the components to build a kinetic strike drone. You can go on that website and you can buy whatever you want. all sorts of crazy stuff, guys. All sorts of crazy stuff on that website, and it's all legal. So here's the thing again, guys. All right, you know when you're like, if the bad guys are sat there, are they going to send the big missiles over, or are they just going to pay someone in that country to build something in that country with parts that are readily available and legal to own in that country and do that job for them? It's a no-brainer, guys. It's a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer. Right, so I'm just going to go through this quick, guys. Okay, so Germany has stepped up their drone defenses. NATO will double down on countermeasures. The biggest question is how to deter, because that's the only way you can do it. You need to deter. How to deter? If it is Russia, I don't know. I think it is, but I've got no evidence to say that it is, just circumstantial. But how do you deter that threat without lighting a match in an already flammable, room? For us in the UK, it's just another reminder that here in the UK that our securities ultimately are underwritten by the military. And if we don't have a strong military, we just get our stuff taken away from us. And I understand with what's happening in the UK, migration, subversion. Subversion is another part of this warfare. It is. It's another part of it. It's another part of asymmetric warfare. All these things are happening right now, guys. They're real, and this is really happening. Right now, all over the world, all over Europe, in the United Kingdom. And you can see this with your own eyes. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, listen, guys, I'm going to close this off now. I'm going to close this down on TikTok. I'm going to jump over to YouTube. I'm going to continue on YouTube. If you're going to jump over to YouTube, guys, I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven 1 on X. And if you're not going to jump over, then I'll see you in the morning at 10 or thereabouts. No, I'm usually dead on time in the mornings, 10 o'clock. So if you're not going to jump over to YouTube, guys, I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube. I will see you guys in the morning. And I'm closing it down now. Oh, hang on a minute. 4 pauses saying, Sean, but we're almost at 50,000. Right. If you're still on TikTok, guys, can you tap that screen and get to 50,000 for 4 pause? Can we tap the screen, guys, and get to 50,000 for 4 pause? Because he really wants to get to 50,000. He's like, no, my OCD won't let me leave without having 50,000. But I'll go with that, guys. I'll go with 48. I'll go with 49. Guys, you've done it so well. Come on, keep tapping that screen. I know you can do it. Tap those fingers, guys. Tap those fingers. Hit those fingers like you've never hit them before. I can see it's going to any second now, guys. Come on, guys. Keep going. Keep tapping. Keep tapping. Fast as you can. Rub it side. There we are. There we are. We've done it for 4 points. Right, we're at 50,000. Thank you so much, guys. I'm jumping over to YouTube now. I'll see you there, or I'll see you in the morning. I am the Real Raven. And Sergeant Gunner is this time saying it's time for a bottle of Raven Reserve. It may be time for a little glass. I don't know. But anyway, guys, I'm going to jump over to YouTube now, and I'll see you guys in the morning. If you've not done so already, make sure you like, hit the buttons, bell notification, wherever they are, and touch your nose. And we are off, ladies and gentlemen. We are off. We are just streaming on YouTube now, so I can swear and curse, say people are useless. Right. Endeavour to Preserve is saying the real threat is on the ground from migration and sabotage. Yeah, I agree, it is. And it's all part of this bigger, warfare, bigger warfare picture. It's all part of this bigger picture where people think that warfare is just tanks and bombs and guns and planes. It's not. It's huge. Social media is a weapon. Trust me, guys, social media is a massive weapon. I first noticed I first really understood how potent, and I know it's been understood a lot longer than this, but for me, I first really had the aha moment, like the understanding of how potent social media was in 2022, when the Ukrainians were fighting the Russians, and the Russians were told that they weren't allowed to take their phones or have any, they're not allowed smartphones, they're not allowed to go on the internet, they're not allowed to do anything. But the Ukrainians, they could, and they were encouraged to upload videos of them doing cool stuff. So what happened was you had this really strange situation where a few things happened, but one of the things that happened was you had this really strange situation where you had little wins being celebrated massively. Oh, look what we're doing! You had all these you had this like these videos going onto YouTube of the Bayraktar drone, blowing shit up. You had videos all over the internet of like Ukrainians doing offensive operations. You had all this positive pro-Ukrainian military propaganda, which is what it was, just absolutely being pumped onto the internet. And what that actually did, that made people believe that the Ukrainians could win. So then they fought harder because they thought they could win. And it worked. And it worked. And it's really wild how it's like, how that happened. It's so wild to me how that happened. But it did. It happened. I'm not. That's one of the reasons. Another one of the reasons is I'm not. The Ukrainians fought like hell. They did. They fought like hell. That's the main reason is the Ukrainians fighting like hell. The main reason for the international aid keep flowing in was because other countries thought, right, we can finish the Russians off here. And another one of the reasons is the Russians have been paying people in Kiev and other places to subvert the government. And obviously, they've been taking the money and saying, yes, I've been working hard. They're subverted. They will fall. Kiev will fall. Kiev will fall. As soon as you guys come, Kiev will fall. Of course they're going to say that. Otherwise, they're going to ask, the people in Russia are going to ask where their money's been going. No, of course I've not been spending it on vodka. I've been spending this on client negotiations with vodka. So what happened is when the Russians rolled in expecting the Ukrainians to lay down and roll over, they didn't get that. They got a really well-mounted defense. Initially, there were foreign fighters soaking up from everywhere around the world. And it was, guys, and it's still the case now, that the Ukrainians don't have the infantry skills to conduct offensive operations as infantry units. And guys, if anybody's going to come on the chat and say, oh, but Sean, David, stop it, all right? I can guarantee I know more than you about this. And whoever you are watching, if you're about to type, oh, but Sean, the Ukrainian military can't, stop it. I promise you, whoever you are, colonel, general, you're probably fat, you've spent 66 years in the military. You're a military historian. Stop it. You're wrong. All right. I'm right. So all these things put together, that's why the Ukrainians managed to stop that initial whitewash, which I think the Russians thought it was going to be. Silly Gallardi is saying the only way to defend yourself from the within threat is good intelligence. Well, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Shabina Mahmood as our intelligence, as head of our intelligence in the United Kingdom. She is head of MI5. She's head of, she's head of borders. We've got Shabina Mahmood, who is a proud, patriotic. Does she class herself now as a proud, patriotic Pakistani Muslim, like as Home Secretary in the United Kingdom? Trevor Pritchard is saying U.S. generals telling U.S. troops to prepare for war today. Yeah, I think that was yesterday, actually. Well, I'm sure they'll be telling. I'm sure they'll be saying it as well today. Slim is saying we should get Mossad to sort her out. Who? Oh, I think we're talking about Shabina Mahmood. From now, he's saying Trump considering supplying Ukraine with long-range missiles to hit Moscow. Yeah, look, I think this will happen. Let's be clear. We'll pay for them. Like British taxpayers will pay for them. They won't be a gift. The British taxpayers will pay for them, and the Tomahawk really is. I mean, the engineering that goes into the Tomahawk is, it's phenomenal. It's been around, a long time. And when a product has that level of maturity, it's hard for anything else to like. I'm just trying to think, is there anything else on the market? And there isn't. There's nothing on the market like a Tomahawk missile, a Tomahawk cruise missile. You have, but they're not even the same. I was going to say you have like the Storm Shadow, Scalp, and Taurus, but they're air launched, so they're not the same because they're just not the same. Yeah, there's nothing that I don't think there's anything on the market like the Tomahawk. And to that end, ladies and gentlemen, I may be having a Tomahawk on a barbecue this weekend. Right, KK is saying, I can't even SK for PM. What could be worse? Oh, are we talking about Sadiq Khan for Prime Minister again? Is that where we're going right now? Who's been talking about? Has that come out on the media? Hang on. Has that come out on the media, guys? Sadiq Khan for Prime Minister. No, where's that coming from, guys? I don't know where that's coming from. I've not found anything on the mainstream about that. Right, I'll see you later, Lisa. I hope Lisa has a nice time. The Exile is saying Bone Tomahawk was a fun Western something flick I've not quite digested. I don't know what that means. I really don't know what that means. But listen, I'm down for it. If you can put it on the barbecue, I'm pretty much down for anything if it goes on the barbecue. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, the crux of this live stream has been a NATO warning. We have got, I mean, let me just try and think of the countries off the top of my head. We have got, obviously, Germany, Denmark, Norway, Poland, Estonia, and Romania. 6 countries. 6 countries now that have all had drone incursions of some. Well, I think it was Estonia that had F-35 jets, so not drones in Estonia, but they've all had air incursions. Now, what they're talking about, and this is from an article from Das Spiegel, they're talking about these drone incursions over Germany because of where they were and what they were doing. They're saying that this could actually be conducting reconnaissance for a potential sabotage attack. Now, look, guys, I've been warning about this. The real threat to Western Europe is sabotage. You know, the manpower is already here. I mean, if I was a bad guy, and I'm not saying that this is happening, although it likely is, if I was a bad guy, what I would do, I would find some Eastern Europeans that work in hotels, and I would say, "Sup, my homie? How you rolling? You want to ride dirty?" And they'd say, "Yes, of course. I'm rolling deep in the United Kingdom. I am working for very good salary." And then I'd say to them, "Would you like to earn greater salary and help Mother Russia?" I wouldn't say that. What I would do is I would go to some Eastern European holiday staff, hotel. I guess it is holiday staff, hotel staff. I would say, right, what I want you to do over the next couple of months, I want you to start identifying people who you think you may be able to pay to go and do stuff for me. Burn stuff down mostly. Burn stuff down. Yeah, burning stuff down. And I'll pay you. And I'll pay them. You wouldn't even actually pay them. You pay the Eastern Europeans, and you say, right, I'm going to pay you this much. However much you get that done for, you can keep the change. You know, you can keep the difference. And when you're paying someone for sabotage, the less money you give them, the more likely that's going to, the less money you offer. There's like a sweet spot. If somebody comes up to you and says, "Sean, do you want to earn £100 million for doing some sabotage?" I'd be like, not a chance, man. Not a chance. Because £100 million is not a number I can live with. Somebody's going to, like, you know, not give me that money. Somebody will make sure that 100 million is never going to materialize. But if you go up to someone and say, "Oh, mate, my mum used to work for this electricity company. They didn't follow the health and safety laws, and they made her clean this substation, and it electrocuted her, and she's paralyzed now, and they won't pay her out. We really need somebody. We'll pay them. We want some revenge. We want somebody to go and set fire to that substation. We'd pay you like, we've not got much money, but we, like me and the family, would pay you like £5,000 if you could go and do that." You see the difference? Which one of those things is more likely to happen? Of course it's the second. Of course, you know. "Yes, of course, I will go make fire in substation. And we will teach capitalist pig lesson from Mother Russia." So that's how it works, guys, you know, and it's, but once you've got them to do that, they're on the payroll then. You can keep pushing them. You can keep pushing them. KK is, oh, hang on. KK is saying it's going to escalate and there's going to be problems for us all, I think. Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, we're already seeing this. Oh, hang on a minute. Haha, you mean they're barbarians? Right, what's going on here? You can't trust someone that's not drunk in Eurovision night. I don't even, why are we talking about, oh, right, yeah, so the Israelis have been banned from Eurovision, right? And look, guys, I'll be quite clear, if there's anybody from Mossad watching, I've got nothing against the Israelis. I just don't understand how are the Israelis in Eurovision? Like, they're not part of Europe. Like, how are the Israelis in Eurovision in the first place? Sorry, guys, I'm just jumping up to these to this chat. Yeah, okay. So when I always say things happen on a Friday, guys, it does. Like, historically, most things happen on a Friday. It's a lot easier for things to happen on a Friday. There's less security. People skive off work. It's harder to call people back to work to deal with an incident. The stock market closes, so you can make a ton of money. In the Middle East, like Friday is a massive Islamic holiday. They don't want to, look, guys, I used to have like 15 Iraqis working for me, and even more when I used to work in Syria. And they wouldn't, like, on a Friday, they would not. Honestly, they'd phone me up with all the excuses. You know, I'd be like, right. So it turned out I just used to give them Friday off. I just said, no, don't embarrass me with your, don't embarrass me with your excuses, because it's embarrassing. Just don't come in. Just don't come in. Right now we have a lot of things happening. We have Donald Trump yesterday giving Hamas. Look, guys, for those of you who don't know, Hamas translated means violence. If you ever ask people what their name, like I used to ask my my Iraqi friends and my Syrian friends, like what their name meant, and they have some mad names, like my name is Mohammed. And then they tell me their second name. I say, right, what does that mean? And they say, I am sword of righteous holy jihad. I'm like, wow. Right, all right, fair one. Your name. So I'd be like, your name actually means you're the sword of the righteous holy jihad. He'd be like, yes. Oh, you won't mind going for a run then? No, Sean, please don't make me go for a run. It's too fast. We are Iraqis. We fight. We are fighters. We fight. Yeah, you need to be fit to fight, mate. No, we stand and fight. No, you don't. Where was I going with that? I don't know where I was going. Right. Okay, we're talking about the Eurovision here. How are Israel part of? We are part of the EBU, the broadcast. Right. Okay. I don't know. Right, guys, the chat's going crazy. We're talking about Clint Eastwood, Alex Core is saying Euro music is shit without Britain. I don't know. I kind of like this, the Ukrainian folk songs that you get. Like if you go to Eastern Europe and you get this Eastern European music. I kind of like it. Right, listen, guys, I am going to close this down now. We did get through absolutely loads today. Please do me a favor if you're on, guys. Share my stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, all those things. I'm on. I try and get on every day, 10 in the morning, 8 in the evening, guys, and we talk about what's been happening. The main thing that I believe is happening, there's two things, really. There's the war in Europe, and whatever could potentially go off this Friday in the Middle East. Oh, so much stuff and data points are flying. These Strato tankers and the F-35s flying over to the Middle East. RAF Akhtari is going to be key. All that sort of stuff's happening. There's also a big RAF exercise at the moment. There's a big RAF in the UK, obviously, with it being the RAF. One of the things that the military do in these exercises, they get to move stuff around. So let's just say, for example, you wanted to move a load of kit and equipment from point A to point B, and point B is in the Middle East. You would use the cover of an exercise, a big military exercise, to move that stuff. Because it's very difficult. Oh, right, that plane's going there and that plane's going there and it landed. If you just send one plane over or 5 planes over, people are going to be like, right, what is on that? And it's going to cause a lot of third-party, third-party interest. But, ladies and gentlemen, the crux of this video has been the drone threat over Europe, over the NATO countries, over Europe. It's growing. It's getting bigger every day. I believe that there was a sabotage attack today in Heathrow Airport. Oktoberfest's been closed or it's been delayed. It's not even Friday, ladies and gentlemen. But I am going to close this down now. So please hit those buttons, guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 10. And stay safe.